You have arguments, they have the keys. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. You know, as lawyers, we put forth a lot of legal arguments in support of our clients' applications for lawful permanent residence or for naturalization. That is, that when we put together our cases, if we spot an issue ahead of time, we're going to raise that and brief it. We're going to go do the research. We're going to write up our arguments, and we're going to have our clients well prepared for their interview in case that topic comes up. But the thing is, you always need to remember that USCIS or the State Department, that officer sitting across from you, sitting at their desk, typing in your answers, they have the keys to the kingdom. So it's sort of a strange scenario. It's a weird feeling because on the one hand, you want to convince them that you're right. You want to make your arguments. You want to prove to them that you're right, but you might find yourself in a little bit of a combative situation where you're arguing with the officer, or you as the lawyer are arguing with the officer, but you have to remember in the back of your mind that they have the keys to the kingdom. They have the key to let you in. They have the key to let you stay. They have the key to let you stay here forever through naturalization. So it's always a fine line that needs to be walked. Now, we've had plenty of situations where people came to us after they made their arguments, and they come to me either on our live show or in a consult, and they say, Jim, I have this winning legal argument. And that's true. You do have that legal argument, but it doesn't mean that you win. USCIS is notorious for making decisions that are all over the place. You know, when I was in law school, they taught me this concept called arbitrary and capricious. Now, those are strange words. Arbitrary means that the decision is just made willy-nilly. There's no real rhyme or reason to it, that they could decide the same issue differently at different field offices or with different officers or anything like that where you're getting inconsistent results. You know, you would think that with all the laws that we have and the regulations that are this thick, that we'd be able to get consistent decisions, but we don't get consistent decisions, and that's where the agency finds itself being arbitrary a lot. And capricious means that they're not supposed to be vindictive, they're not supposed to come after you, they're not supposed to punish you with their decision. But when I learned the concept of arbitrary and capricious in law school, it really didn't make a lot of sense to me. But once I started practicing immigration law and I saw how the agency decided things in an arbitrary way and in a capricious or vindictive way, then I knew what that phrase meant. And you always need to remember that when you're dealing with the officer, because sometimes officers are in a bad mood, sometimes officers are having a bad day, sometimes officers just got in a fight with their spouse before they get into the meeting with you. You never know. Maybe their chicken salad sandwich is upsetting their stomach. You just never know what's happening with the officer themselves, but they are the ones you have to focus on. You have to convince them at the interview or at the embassy that you deserve the benefit sought, that you are entitled to this. So you always want to make sure that you have a compelling argument ready, but you also don't want to piss them off. You don't want to make them angry. You don't want to antagonize them. So it's really a fine art between telling someone to fuck off, but not letting them know that you're telling them that, not letting them know that how dumb they are, how stupid their decisions are, how their questions are not even related to the benefit that you're seeking. All that stuff goes out the window because you have to make them happy. If you don't make them happy, your case is going to be denied. And if your case is denied, then you spin off into all these different scenarios where you're then running to the lawyer and saying, Jim, but I've got these arguments. Yeah, but your arguments don't mean much if you don't convince the person that you're sitting there with, if you don't make them know that they have to approve your case. That's what we're after. We're after making them know that they have to approve their case, that you're eliminating their indecision. You're making it overwhelmingly obvious that they have to approve your case. And that's really what I want you to think about when you think about immigration, that you're focused on overwhelming them with evidence, overwhelming them with your argument, but doing it in a kind and respectful way, almost like a bulldozer or a one of those things that smash down the asphalt. You're just going to steamroll right over them, and you're going to give them no choice but to approve your case, but you're going to do it with a smile on your face. So too many people focus on the fight, and they focus on winning, and they focus on the argument, that they forget that there's another human being sitting across from them at that table, a human being with all these complex emotions and things going on in their lives that really have nothing to do with you or your case. But because they don't like the look of you, they don't like the way you're talking, they don't like the way that you're so sanctimonious or rude, that they're just going to deny it and reject your arguments. They're going to shut down because of the way you're presenting yourself. So you always have to operate on those two tracks. How do I put myself in the position to prove that I'm right? And how do I make a friend and make them want to approve me? And that's the approach that we try to bring to each and every case that we file. That's the approach that we try to educate our clients about, because there's that fine line between being an effective advocate and pissing people off. And you don't want to cross over that line, because if you cross over that line, your case either gets denied or delayed. And denied and delayed is what we always want to avoid. All right? So I hope you found this video helpful. If you're looking for help in how to frame your case, if you're looking for help in framing your arguments, if you're looking for a law firm that's going to fight for you every single day and that's going to put together these arguments in a way that's going to make them want to approve your case, you should give us a call at 314-961-8200. You can always email us at info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. We also have our YouTube channel where we have hundreds and hundreds of free videos all related to U.S. immigration and the State Department. And then, of course, we have our Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. If you join our Facebook group, you'll get alerted whenever we go live on our Immigration Answers show live. And you'll also be able to talk to other immigrants going through the immigration process. So we have a lot of free resources for people that aren't in a position to hire us, but we also are really excited to talk to and hear from people who want to hire us to be their immigration lawyer. So reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and have a great day.